75, but with those numbers, about 40 people. So, and we have 9 people so far that have joined.
Okay, good deal.
So this is a webinar. They'll be able to ask questions at the end.
And it'll be up on the screen, right? Because I did not bring that home with me. When I got home, I thought, oh my goodness.
The PowerPoint I have up. Do you see it?
Okay, okay. Yes, I do. I
Okay.
do. So I'll be able to see it even as, because we'll just stay like in the corner like this, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So is your baby on the swim team?
Yes. She made county. Hi, Spades. How are you?
Awesome.
Hello there. I'm doing well. What about yourself?
Good. We got about 14 parents so far.
Okay, awesome. That is awesome.
All right, it's 6 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and start. Good evening, everyone. I'm Francesca Thompson, the Career Academy Coach for South Gwinnett High School under the leadership of Rodney Jordan. And we also have our CTAE AP, Miss King, that is part of the audience as well. And we have Ms. Fletcher, our counselor for Public Service Law and Media Academy, and we have Mr. Spates, who is our curriculum AP. Today, we wanted to invite our 9th grade parents to have a conversation about career connections. This is an annual event that takes place during this time because we're an academy school, and so our students are about to select an academy and a career pathway that they must commit to. And so let me move this out the way. And so what it is, Career Connections, hopefully they've been talking to you about Career Connections. I want to show you some of the activities that we have planned so far. When they came back in January, we kicked it off with an assembly. So please talk to them about that. We had our upperclassmen talk to the freshmen about selecting a pathway, what's involved in that, the opportunities that come out of selecting a pathway and committing to that. At the end of their 3 years, as long as they commit to those 3 classes, they become pathway completers. We have a lot of activities, career activities that are taking place in their IBT or their Intro to Digital Technology class or their Marketing Principles class. All of our freshmen are in one of the 3 classes I just listed. So you might want to just have them show you some of the activities that they're doing. And just this is the time to start talking to them about careers and the things that they would like to do. We have our CTE student ambassadors going into their advisement classes, also having those conversations with them. And then Monday, this was supposed to be the 16th, but it'll be this coming up Monday, they're going to be a part of a career pathway fair. And the students will get to go around and meet all 13 pathways. There'll be the CTE ambassadors, and they will be able to go and talk to each of the ambassadors and find out what's involved in those pathways and what clubs are attached to those pathways, what job opportunities or internships are attached to those pathways, and field experiences. We're really big with field experiences at South Gwinnett. So they'll be able to have those conversations. So that will be a good time to kind of prep them about networking and asking questions and not being afraid to walk up to the students and say, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about this pathway? because we don't want them to be part of a pathway that they're not committed to. And what does that mean? When people don't take career connections and this part seriously, they'll be placed in something that they don't like and have to commit to that, and it'll be boring, right? And they'll be like, why am I in culinary arts and I don't even like to cook? And so we want to avoid that, and that's why we have this month-long thing for our students to be involved in. Also, next week, we have our industry partners that are going to be coming in on a Wednesday and a Thursday through those IBT classes, and they're going to talk to our freshmen about careers. So we have all industries represented. They'll be speaking to them about the different careers and how they got their job, and the big question, how much money do you make? And so they will be able to answer those questions, and they're going to actually have the opportunity to once again network with our industry panelists and have conversations. And so this is a great time to kind of prep them and practice this at home and just have them ready so that they can do some research. Today, we're having our virtual parent meeting. We have our counselor and our AP that can kind of walk you through some more of the process. And then on February 1st is what we call our Academy Signing Day, where the freshmen will be selecting their pathways and their academies and committing to this particular pathway, and pretty much sealing the deal for in registration. And so Mr. Spates will go over that a little more. And Ms. Fletcher.
Good evening. So glad to be with you all. Okay, so I've outlined for you what your scholars will be able to select as their career pathway. So you've heard the term CTAE, and what that means is a career, technology, agriculture, education. So it's pretty much integrating the academics and allowing them to explore potential career pathways, something that, they feel very passionate about, something that they're really good about doing, and something that they're going to enjoy doing. So it's something that they should select, but with your guidance, making certain that they are connecting with those interests and those abilities. So what I would like for you to do is to take a look at the pathways, because we have the STEM, and that's of course science, technology, engineering, and math. We have PSLM, and that is our public service, law, leadership, and media. And we have HHS, our health, human services, and we have our BAY, business, entrepreneurship, and hospitality. So you see the first column there gives you the overall pathway, and our desires for them to become pathway completers. That means that they will complete the course 1, course 2, and course 3. The fourth column is a bonus. Some students may not get to that particular area, but ideally we want for them to definitely complete course 1, 2, and 3. And it's good for them to take a look at what is going to be required, because oftentimes, you hear scholars say, well, I want to be an engineer, but take a look at those courses. You got to start out with the foundations of engineering. And if math is not your strong suit, then maybe that may not be the actual pathway that your scholars should select. So, and because the engineering concept would be next, and if they're computer science, they may like gaming and playing the games, but when you're getting into AP computer science principles, you're getting into a lot of programming. And so we want to make certain that they're going to be successful, and it's going to be something that they're going to enjoy, because the goal is for them to commit. Once they decide on that pathway, and especially that academy, that is where we want for them to end up being a pathway completer, along with many of them have different types of certifications that go along with completing those pathways as well. So that is the goal. And I've also outlined what they had taken as a STAR Academy. So some of them, if they decide to continue with the first course being the Introduction of Business and Technology, then they will move to the second course within the pathway, okay? So if you look at the entrepreneurship, that is an example where if your scholar has received full credit for Introduction to Business and Technology, and they decide, well, I really like this area, I think I'm going to continue with the entrepreneurship, they would become a part of the Bay Academy, and they will start with course 2 versus course 1. So they definitely will end up in that area where they have the potential to do work-based learning, dual enrollment, and internships as well. And also noted, if your scholar has JROTC and they want to continue that and they complete that pathway with courses 1, 2, and 3, that will satisfy their health and PE requirement. So that's a benefit if they decide to take that area, and that is a pathway. It's under, of course, PSLM. That's an option. So just an overview of the various pathways. Look at course 1, 2, and 3, and make certain that they are making their selection based on their interest as well as their ability.
Thank you, Ms. Fletcher. We now have Mr. Spates. Spates, are you?
I'm here. I was trying to answer the question before you called on me, but it's fine.
Oh.
Someone did ask a question, and I will answer it in the chat. But the courses that was to the left of Mrs. Fletcher's slide, those courses are not required when you're looking at the Intro to Business Technology, or you're looking at the JRTC or the Literature Types Composition. Those are typically the electives that are available to our 9th grade students as they come in for their first year here at South Gwinnett High School. What I wanted to do is kind of walk you through or talk to you very briefly about the course selection process. And so this week actually started today. Our teachers, our core teachers, are currently marking or recommending our students for their next courses. So most freshmen currently are taking in their core classes, 9th grade language arts, biology, and algebra concept and connection. Of course, if you had a scholar who excelled in math, they may be taking geometry or a higher level math. So what's happening is that those teachers are looking at their rosters and looking at the students that are in their classes and determining if that student is going to the next course. And let me give you an example. So a student who is in currently 9th grade language arts, let's say they are just fantastic in the course. They're excelling. Last semester, they got a 95. Right now, they're on track right now they have a 97 in the class. And they are really, really interested in language arts, or they really excel in language arts. Well, their current language arts teachers can recommend them to do the honors course for next year. So right now, what happens when the teachers get the recommendation forms from me, I'm just going to mass assign those students to the next course based on the rigor that they're in right now. But the teacher has the ability to say, no, Marcel is doing really great in my class right now. I truly believe he needs to be honest. He needs that extra rigor in his course, in his courses for his 10th grade year. So that's what the teachers are doing this week through next week. In the beginning of February, our scholars will be able to choose their electives, which also means their academy. Ms. Thompson, am I able to share my screen?
Okay, let me, I'm trying to type the answers to these
It's
questions, but let me get out of here. And then let me find you. Stop sharing. I'm going to make you the co-host, and then you should be able to share.
okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if this works. All right, is everybody seeing the SGHS 2004-2005 elective?
Yes.
Awesome. So this is actually the form that our 10th grade students will work on. They actually did this one first. So they'll have this link during advisement or the week that we open it up for them, which again will be around the first week or the first full week of February. They'll go in, they'll put in their student number, their name, which academy, and whether they're in the Star Academy or if they're doing it currently in 3DE. Then they will choose their academy. So when they go to this screen, they'll say, you know what, after the career fair, I'm really thinking about health and human services. But then also, if I can't get into that, I want to do public service law and media. They'll go there and they'll say, okay, my first academy elective. So they said, I want to do health and human services. They'll click on that. And the form is very intuitive. So once they click on health and human services, it will give them the option for the first pathway courses in that academy. So which is Intro to Healthcare Science or Food, Nutrition, and Wellness. So they'll click that and they'll say next. So choose your second academy elective. So their second academy was Public Service Law and Media. And then those first year options or first year pathway options are available. So let's say this student is thinking about audio, video technology, and film. They'll click that, and what will happen, they'll go to next, and they will get the option to choose 4 global electives. So they'll do global elective choice 1, 2, 3. Somebody said enlarge. Let me see if I can enlarge the screen. Let me see if I can go back. Just, oh, go for it. Okay, here we go. So we're back. So they'll choose their academy, decide whether there are options or in regards to their rank of the academies that they want to go into. So again, I'm gonna just say my number 1 option is health and human services. My second option is public service law and media. Then I'm going to choose my first academy elective, which is what I said, health and human services.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna do intro to healthcare science. Then my second academy choice is public service law and media. And that first year elective or academy elective, I want a pathway course would be audio, video technology, and film. Then they'll have the option to choose 4 non-academy electives, our global electives. And the reason we give students the option of 4, sometimes a course that a student wants to take, they may not be able to take it because it's not offered throughout the entire day. Or let's say that our students, and this is very key, parents, for our students who are taking the more advanced courses, whether it's the advanced math courses or they're taking the higher rigor courses such as honors or AP, the higher the level of the course, the less amount of options are available for that course. So for example, if a student is thinking about world history, they're taking world history, most of them are taking that next year. You have the CP level, honors, and AP. There may be, let's say, 15 times throughout the day is being taught at the CP level, 5 times throughout the day at honors, and 2 times at the AP level. So at the AP level, period 1 and 3 is being taught. So that student, let's say they want to do audio, video technology, and film, but it's only offered first period. Then they must have that AP class third period. Or let's say it's not offered in a period that works with other courses in their schedule. That's why we give them so many options so that we can say, well, it wasn't able to be put on your schedule because there was a conflict. So we went to your next choice. And we always want to give our students as many choices as possible because that limits having to do a lot of schedule changes in the summer, in the beginning of the school year, as well as we just want to make sure that we're giving the students what they're asking for. So we really try to give as many options as possible. And so once they complete this form, then it comes to my office, myself, and our student data management clerk will begin building their schedule. And then once we have all the course requests in the system, you guys, the parents and the students will be able to see that on your parent portal as well as the student view, which is the student portal. When we send that out and upload it, there will be email either from myself or Mr. Jordan saying, please make sure you review these course requests with your student. They'll have an opportunity to make some changes, but those changes will be done before the end of the school year. Our goal is to make sure everyone's schedule, as best as possible, is complete by the time the school year is over. When we get back in school at the end of July, the beginning of August, what we will be doing is just doing schedule corrections. Oh, I have two 2 classes second period, something happened with the software, we'll fix that. Oh, you didn't take, you're in culinary arts 1, but you haven't taken intro. We're going to put you in intro to culinary arts. So we're making corrections, but not changes. Just to give you some background information, and back in the fall, when we gave students the option to make changes to their schedule, there was 1,300 requests in 1 week. And there's really 2 people, 3 people total in the building that are making those changes. So that's why we're trying to make sure that we tackle all the changes, all the questions before school is out, so that when we come back in August, they're right in class, they're in the classes they need to be in, the classes that they decided. And I will stop sharing and I'll look at the questions if any questions come in.
Yes, and I was gonna allow people, if you want to raise your hand and ask a question, we can take a few questions. So if at this time it's just Q&A, thank you, Spates. That was great explanation. And Ms. Fletcher, yours as well. It's just very important that our kids know what the options are and they pick, so that they're happy when they come back in August. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask those now.
And I was going to state to the parents also, you guys will get an email from the school stating when the students will be able to choose those electives to actually complete that form. Please make sure that they are in advisement, make sure that they are paying attention to the video that they will see as they're choosing their electives. I'm also going to ask teachers to kind of walk around and double check, triple check to make sure that they are completing this form. Because what will happen if a student does not complete this form, unfortunately, we will choose for them, and that may not be what they want. So we want to make sure we give them the full option. Of course, if the student is sick, they still will have the option. Again, they're going to have a week time frame to do this.
One question is, when will the form be available?
That will be, based off my timeline right now, is going to be the first full week of February, which I believe is starts February 4th or 5th. I believe that Monday,
Okay.
February 5th.
Any other questions? You can raise your hand and we can promote you to talk. I think we have 2 people that have done that. And let me find out who they are. I can't see.
So
who they
I'm
are.
looking
I
at the
think-
questions. One question that's up right now: once they commit to their academy, do they have to stick with it for the remainder of their time at SGHS? Yes, that is correct. Our goal is for our students to be pathway completers. Now, there are some options. The biggest option, or the option that a lot of students may take if they're in the current academy, but they're thinking about something else, is Maxwell and Grayson High School. Maxwell High School Technology and Grayson Technology. Those schools are pathway schools, or our career tech schools. So what students can do, let's say you have a student who's currently in culinary arts and they say, I like cooking, but I don't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. And that's fine. That's also part of why I love Career Academy schools, because our students are also getting exposed to things early on before spending a whole lot of money before, they're going to school like, oh, I did 2.5 years of culinary arts and now I don't want to do it. Well, a lot of our students find out before they leave high school, which saves a lot of money, a lot of time. So we do have Maxwell High School Technology and Grayson Tech, and students can actually participate in those schools. Typically, they can do it in 10th grade, but we really recommend them for 11th or 12th grade, especially if they still need to take their modern and foreign language, because you do need 2 years of a foreign language in order to be eligible for admissions to most colleges and universities. So they can go, let's say a student wants to do cybersecurity, but they start in culinary arts. They can go to Maxwell or Grayson Tech actually has that program. So they do have the opportunity to do something else, but here at South Gwinnett High School, once you commit to academy, then you're in that academy to the time you graduate. That's part of the academy signing day.
I'm gonna let Ms. Marcelin talk. You can ask your question now.
I'm actually, can you guys hear me? I'm driving, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, So the form that will be provided, will it be provided in school for the teachers to walk the students through, or would it be sent home, or how will that transpire?
So it'll be uploaded to their e-class page, and then there'll be a video for the students to walk through the video. So I'll do a very brief video that shows them what to look for, like where to go to find the link, then how to walk through and determine, okay, these are my electives, this is the academy I'm choosing, so they fully understand. So they'll have the directions, and teachers will get the information ahead of time so that they know how to help the students.
Thank you. Next question, will the
Oh,
students,
I think
oh, okay,
Miss Marceline has something.
she has something else?
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Oh, okay. You're welcome.
Will the students and or parents receive a receipt of what they submitted?
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about when we upload the course request. So it'll have all the students' courses, the core classes, as well as their electives. And so you'll be able to see that on parent view and student view. And then students will have the opportunity to make changes like, oh, I see that French 1 was placed on my schedule first, but actually I think I really want to do Spanish. So then they'll have the opportunity to put that there. Of course, when we make changes, some things may be able to fall on the student schedule, some of them may not. We are serving almost 2,700 students, so there are limitations to all our classes, but the goal is to give students the #1 ranked electives that they have placed, their academy pathway course, as well as their global electives.
The
I
form
can,
should be set up also where they can save it once they submit, correct?
I believe we have that option. I'll double check, and what I can do is have one of our students kind of test it out
Okay.
before that first week in February.
And that would be a means for the parent or guardian who just asked that question regarding being able to see what they submitted. So you should be able to save from the form. So we'll double check tomorrow.
Yes.
thank you. I can answer these two questions. The event that takes place next Monday is the career fair. That will be during class. That will be in their IBT or it's their introduction to business technology class, their introduction to digital technology class, or their marketing principles class. They'll be rotating in and out of the gym that day to look at those pathways. The other question was the webinar. I will send this to you guys via email once we upload it to our YouTube channel, and you'll get a copy of that. Ms. Fletcher, when will the second language option be available to SGHS scholars or Spates?
Sorry, could they, I'm not quite understanding the question. When will the second language? I
I believe that-
believe they can start, would normally have them start their junior year where they add the world language onto their schedule.
And I can answer. So even on the form, it is available. However, and I want to, be very transparent with parents and our students, and I always tell them this each year. Our juniors, I will tell you, our juniors will get priority. And the reason is students do need 2 years of the same foreign language in order to be eligible for admissions to most college universities. Not saying that some of our rising 10th graders cannot be in Spanish or French, because we currently have some sophomores that are in some of our foreign language courses. But I will tell you that we do look at the priority because we want to make sure every student does have the option, if they're planning on going to a 4-year college university, that they do get those 2 years of a foreign language. But it is an option. Our students who are juniors, who are rising juniors right now, when they get their form, it's going to be in bright red, making sure, like, if you're planning to go to a 4-year college university and you have not started a foreign language yet, Your number one global option elective should be French or Spanish. Again, our rising 10th graders, they can select that as one of their options. And it may work out for their schedule. If they put it as their number one choice and we're able to put them in there, we will. But I will tell you, with all transparency, our juniors will get the priority initially. But we try to, and the thing is, we are limited in regards to the amount of teachers that we have. We have 2 teachers for French and a total of 3 or 4 for Spanish, and those Spanish teachers are teaching different uh, levels. So some of them teaching level 1, some teaching level 2, some of them teaching 3 or AP or Spanish for our native speakers. And the class size, I'm sorry, and the class size limit for our foreign language courses is about 34, 35 because they have the speaking labs and hearing labs that are mounted to the top of the ceiling. So you really want to have a headset and a speaking set for each of the students when they're in class. So that's really the reason why it's very limited versus you think about a PE course that may have 50 students in the class.
Thank you.
It's also an option for our parents and guardians to consider that have younger children still, that they can earn that initial credit in middle school. So if you have them to be a part of the middle school program, then they would enter high school with their year 2. They would start at year 2, and that would be they would complete their language requirements their freshman year. And if they wanted to take level 3, if it's available, they would complete that level their sophomore year. So that's something to consider if you have younger children.
And that's what we did with my child. She took it in middle school. So thank you for that. Janice, you can speak now and ask your question.
Yes, good evening, Ms. Thompson. I had a question in regards to the career fair that you were mentioning. You said that the students, the scholars would be rotating out of specific classes. If the students don't currently have that class, how would they be able to take part in that career fair, or is it only for a specific group?
In Spates, you might can help me. From my understanding, the students are in one of those 3 classes. So
Can you repeat those classes for me,
it's
Ms.?
your introduction to business technology. I want to say it's the introduction to digital technology or the computer science class. And then you have 3DE students who are in marketing principles or something like that. So
Yeah, my
Intro to,
student is not in any of those classes. He's in writer's workshop and like the language arts classes, but not any of those 3. So that's why I'm asking the question.
okay, that's good. Good to know. And so this is a 9th grader?
He's a 9th grader, correct?
All right, so we will need to check to see how many other students are in that category and figure out what classes they're in so we can pull them. Thank you for that question.
Thank you.
My child has signed up for JROTC but was not placed in the program. How do we assure she gets in it? I would say,
so
go ahead.
go ahead.
But reach out to your counselor, whoever your counselor is, and send that information to them so that they can do some investigation on that part.
She will also have that option, correct, Mr. Spates, on their form. His JROTC
Yes.
will be on the form, so he or she can place that as their number 1 selection for their core, their general global elective.
Perfect.
Correct.
And thank you for letting us know your son is not in those classes. This is good information for us to find out. We'll do some investigation on our part to see what we can do to make sure that all of our freshmen are in that career fair.
Thank you.
I did drop in the chat the link to the Academies page. Somebody asked a question about research. So if you look at the chat, there's a link in there. That is our Academies page, and it has that chart that Ms. Fletcher had on her slide. And then I think that's a good idea, start having your students research those industries. And also have them take a look at the Grayson Tech and Maxwell as well, just in case we don't offer the pathways that they would like to get into. What determines what class they get in? Is it based on grades or time of submission?
For the classes that students are placing, it's not based on their grades. It's really based on the availability of the courses. So what happens that we get the list, we're going to place all the course requests. So let's say there's 200 students that are want to go into audio video technology and film. So we're going to look at all the students who are looking at doing level 1, all the students who are currently in level 1 that are going to level 2, and the students that are in level 2 that'll be going to level 3. Because that's one teacher that are teaching all 3 levels. And so depending on that teacher's numbers for the second year course and the third year course will let us know what how many sections we'll be able to have for the first year course. And then again, it's not a it's more of a random selection versus, you know, oh, Marcel had a 97 in all his classes and Bob had 77s. So we don't go off of grades. It's all about the students' options. Just like when we choose things, sometimes we're able to get what exactly we want, and sometimes we may have to pivot and maybe do something different. But also, some students, when they get their course request, they may say, you know what? Initially, I wanted to do AV Tech and Film, but now I'm thinking about doing Intro to Healthcare Science. So now that's one slot that opens up for somebody else.
Perfect. All right, I just posted the link again. I hope that you guys can see it. And the last question we have for tonight is, if we finish one academy, can we choose another?
So what was that question again?
If we finish one academy, can we choose another academy?
So that's really, and I'll tell you, that's really difficult for a student to finish an academy early, unless they are a freshman who's in a course right now, let's say with the Intro to Business Technology, and they finish out the next 2 courses. They'll finish there at the end of their junior year. They won't have the time to do the other another 3 courses their senior year unless they go over to a Maxwell Grayson.
And
Now,
also to chime in, I'm sorry, regarding Maxwell and Grayson, it's important for your scholars, if they're looking down the road and would like to explore those opportunities, that they are on track, because they cannot be approved to attend if they are not on track to graduate. So make certain that they're passing all their classes so that if that's a goal, that they can attain that goal.
absolutely. And the reason why our students have to be on track is because when a student goes over to Maxwell and Grayson, they lose 4 periods here in the building. So they're taking their core classes here and they're doing a full career pathway in 1 year. So they're over there taking really 1.5 years of a course first semester and the second year and a half of that pathway second semester. I see a question of, is coursework available during the summer? So for our students, summer school, and I was at a meeting today, summer school, as of right now, for a individual course is $250 per half credit course. Students can't do the math courses, and I want you to understand with summer school, if a student tries to take the full year of a course, they would be taking the first semester and the second semester course at the same time. So that's very difficult for a student to do if they're trying to take, let's say, geometry, trying to get ahead in math. The second semester of the course, they won't be ready for that because they haven't taken the first semester of it. And so they would be taking what they would do normally from August to December. They would take that in the morning from typically 7 o'clock to 11, and then they would take the second semester of the course, which is January through May from 11:30 to 3:30. So that's why if you ever looked at the summer school documents that comes out, they will put asterisks next to math and science courses because they will not allow a student to take the second semester of a math or science course unless they have already passed and taken the first semester, because we would not be, setting our students up for success having to take those classes together, knowing that they haven't been exposed to the first half while they're still trying to do the second half.
Thank you. Ms. Fletcher, when does Maxwell process start?
It's up now. Both are on, they can access through their eClass page. And their
When
open
can they
houses will
start
be
taking?
coming up.
What grade level can they start taking Maxwell and Grayson?
There are a few selections for 10th grade, but ideally it's 11th and 12th.
Yeah. So and I will say it is open to our 10th graders. And I think I said this a little earlier. The issue that comes in, remember, if a student goes over to Maxwell Grayson, they're going to lose 4 periods at the high school. So that means that student, let's say they're doing culinary arts over at Maxwell or Grayson. So they will take their language arts, they will take their math and their social studies in the building with us. And then over at Maxwell Grayson, they'll do Intro to Culinary Arts 1, and Culinary Arts 2 over there, and they will have what's called an embedded credit of a science, which is food science, which would be the 4th science, typically course that we'll take in their senior year. So then when we get to their 11th grade year, if they do that, then they really have to take their foreign language in 11th grade. And again, it just, for what I've seen for students who are successful in the years that I was a counselor previous to this role, students who really go to Maxwell and Grayson, their 11th or 12th grade year, they're more successful because they're also a little more mature. Not saying that we haven't had students who were in 10th grade to do Maxwell and Grayson and do well, but I've found over the years that our 11th and 12th graders do a little better, as well as when a student gets to their 12th grade year, if they've been on track, they really don't have too many required courses for graduation, versus when they're in their 10th and 11th grade, they still have a lot of required courses left to take and pass. Many of our seniors, they typically, when they get to their senior year, they're going to need language arts, math, science, and social studies, and some of them will only need science. They will only need language arts and social studies, so they'll need 2 credits. So it really allows them to have some flexibility with their schedule their senior year.
All right, our last 2 questions. I think we might have to pull together some resources for this one. Are there any resources available for students who are currently in the 9th grade looking to take a foreign language class outside of school exams and online?
We can definitely pull together some information. There are options such as Gwinnett Online Campus, but of course, that is at a cost, $250 per half credit course. Phoenix 7th period, I believe their course is about $150, but you would have to provide transportation. And I'll tell you, unless your scholar is really great on online work, I would really prefer for them to do, especially a foreign language, in person. Online work, especially at Gwinnett Online Campus, is not for what I call the faint of heart. They are very structured, and it's definitely much more self-learning versus being with a teacher and be able to ask questions day in and day out.
Thank you. And then the last question, could summer school be used to catch up in math transferred from out of state? I want to
Yes.
get my daughter's. Go ahead.
So yes, you can't, that's part of the main purpose of summer school, for students to catch up. So that information will be coming out soon. You will have to sign up through My Payments Plus. The district is trying to see if there's any funds left over from the pandemic funds that the government has given out. The past couple years, summer school has been free, but as we go into this this new school year, those funds have been already exhausted. So summer school may not be free as it was in the past if you've had a scholar with us or in another school um, in Gwinnett County. But your daughter can utilize summer school to catch up. So let's say she needs semester one of algebra concepts and connections. Yes, she will be able to take that course during summer school. When the information comes out, I will say you will have to sign up on My Payments Plus. So if you don't have a My Payments Plus account right now, make sure you get that taken care of. Make sure you get that activated. If you need some assistance, you can reach out to Dr. Marcia Crater at our school, our parent instructional coordinator, and she's definitely more than willing to help you work through getting that My Payments Plus account. But it's very user friendly. If you go to My Payments Plus, it'll ask you what school district. You'll just need your son or daughter's student number, your information, and most of the time it's a very easy connection, and you have access to that platform. But when it opens up, I will say, because the in-person sites are limited. So if you know, oh, my son is going to need biology first semester because they weren't successful, then you want to jump on it right away. I will tell you the closest site is going to be Shiloh High School. I do know that's going to be the closest one to South Gwinnett. The in-person sites move around every year. One on the north end of Gwinnett, one in the central area of Gwinnett, and one on the south end. We were a summer school site last year. This summer is going to be Shiloh. And again, it's $250 per half credit course if a student needs the full course. If they failed with a grade of 49 or below, if a student had a grade of 50 to 69, they can do credit recovery. However, if you have a student athlete who's looking to get an NCAA scholarship, they cannot do credit recovery because the NCAA will not accept credit recovery courses on their transcript for the NCAA transcript. So that's a very, very important thing. We tell our scholars that all the time. If you're an athlete, credit recovery is not for you. You have to do the full course.
Thank you. And the last question was about when will the deadline for summer school registration? That information is not out yet, right?
It's not out yet. It's typically about a few days before summer school starts. So let's say summer school starts on June 3rd. The deadline may be the 27th, 28th.
Okay. Well, we would like to thank you all for joining us tonight. Hopefully this was very helpful for you to be able to support your scholar. I will be sending you this YouTube and whatever resources that Ms. Fletcher and Mr. Spates can share. So just look for that in the email that you registered for the webinar. And best wishes to you and your scholars in their selecting of their pathway. If you have any questions, I'm Francesca Thompson, the Career Academy coach. You have Mr. Spates, the curriculum AP, and Ms. Fletcher, one of our fabulous counselors. And so we're all here to help. We just want the best for our students at South Gwinnett. And so thank you once again for joining. Good night.